Okay, we're here to call to order the Raymore Parks and Rec Board meeting for Tuesday, November 27th, 2018. Can I get a roll call, please?
Member Bartow.
Present.
Member Cipolla.
Present.
Member Eastwood.
Present.
Member Harris.
Present.
Member Heath.
Present.
Member Supple.
Present.
Chairman Troutman.
Present.
Members Howdyshell and Seamers are absent.
Okay, all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. And it seems like no personal appearances, so we will move on. We need acceptance of the October 23rd, 2018 Park Board minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept the Park Board minutes for October 23rd, 2018.
I second that.
Okay, hearing a motion and second. Any modifications? Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay. 7-4, 2 absent. Okay, we'll move on to staff reports. Director?
Thank you, sir. I will call on Mr. McLean for a recreation report.
Thank you, sir. I have submitted a report in the packet for this evening. I would like to highlight a few things. One thing is we have hired some new part-time staff members, some front desk attendants, recreation attendants helping at the rack, and we've also hired some facility monitors preparing for the new and upcoming basketball season as well. And so we've been training those staff members. Office Assistant Nab has been working with the ones learning rec track and doing frontline operations out there. So those staff members have been in training and started taking on their roles within the hours that they've been scheduled out at the new facility. Also working with concessions manager as we're doing inventory. We've shut down and pulled inventory from our concession stands and are moving some of that to the rack for when we start up basketball season and start concession operations there. So we've been working through all of that, preparing for winter sports. Coordinator Brennan has been working on wrapping up the fall season, had some season end meetings with the South Metro Sports Group for discussions regarding the recreational programs. Also had a KCML season end meeting. And then this week, actually this evening, we're having basketball coaches meeting for the recreational basketball coaches that season gets started and practices get underway here in the next couple weeks. So he's been working on that. All coordinators and staff have been working on putting together the winter program guide and getting that to the communications department so they could start it, preparing it for print. So it will go out the 1st of January. And then coordinator Van Coolen is her new name. And so I need to change that on my report. Not Patrick anymore. Sorry about that. So correction there. But Coordinator Van Coolen, she has been working hard, especially this week, prepping for the mayor's tree lighting, which will be Friday evening. So she's been working on getting that all lined up and ready to go. There has been work also with the parks crew, especially with the weather that we've had. So they're working all hard on that. And with that, I will be glad to entertain any questions.
Any questions for Superintendent McLean? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Director?
I will ask Mr. Rulo to do a parks report.
Thank you. I also submitted a written report, but wanted to touch on a few items. If anybody has gone by TB Hanna today, you'd recognize the mayor's tree was delivered and installed today. I'm looking forward to the event this coming Friday. Staff will be working up there, trying to remove some of the snow, the ice from last couple days worth of weather. And just wanted to let everybody know that the restrooms are winterized for the season and should be open around Easter. With that, I will take any questions.
Any questions for Superintendent Rulo? Okay, none. Thank you, sir. Director?
Thank you. Just a couple highlights from my written report as well. A reminder to everybody that this week's interview is closed, doing some warranty work on the floor. Our operations in terms of administrative staff is at the rack. All telephone calls are forwarded down there, but if anybody wants to walk in or come see us, we are at the rack for the week. Should be back open at Centerview next Monday. We did do the first of two trout stockings at Hawk Ridge Park at Johnston Lake. The first is November, the second is typically in February. So if you follow us on Facebook, you'll see that it has been extremely popular and a lot of fish are being caught out of there. So that's a great program and we're pleased to be a part of that. I know that it was in my staff report and Mr. McLean's, but the Santa softball tournament on November 16th was kind of the close of the season for our outdoor sports. And that's a great program, and we're really excited that they've chosen Recreation Park, especially our complex, to be the host for that. It did raise over $6,000 to purchase toys and gifts for kids in the Kansas City metro area. I believe there were 18 teams from Missouri, Kansas, and Missouri that participated in that. So this was the second year, and they're just as pleased about the whole program as we are. So we look forward to it next year. And a quick reminder that December 17th will be our joint work session with the City Council. So just put that on your calendars. I know we discussed that in our work session, but just wanted to remind the folks out there who might be watching or catching up on these meetings that we will be meeting with the council on the 17th. And with that, happy to answer any questions, sir.
Any questions for the director? Thank you, sir. On to unfinished business, we have none. So we'll move on to new business. Action item A, Recreation Park pedestrian bridge replacement. Director?
Thank you, sir. As you guys will recall, part of our CIP program for fiscal year 17 included the replacement of the pedestrian bridge at Recreation Park. This particular bridge is the connecting piece between Moon Valley Park and Rec Park. It was built and installed by an Eagle Scout several years ago, and it's really just outlived its usefulness. Some weather, flooding, and things have caused some damage, so we budgeted to replace this. With a budget of $55,000, we did some initial engineering, and what we found was the bridge that we were hoping to get was going to be much more difficult to install and be much more expensive than we had anticipated. So we looked to our public works crew, our engineering department, for some additional ideas, some alternate ideas. And they really took that and ran with it. So we're very thankful that we worked so well together. Ultimately, what you have before you is a contract that puts in essentially an artificial land bridge. It's concrete culverts side by side, and it won't even look like a bridge. It'll just be a smooth transition. It'll have safety rails on there. The initial bid also included approach, tearing out asphalt and putting in some new approaches, because those areas down there have kind of gotten damaged and stuff. When the bids came in, the low bid was $69,000, clearly over our budget, so we went back in with the lowest best bidder. We removed those approach items and we just put in the bridge with the concrete and essentially what we needed to do, and we got that budget or that we negotiated the price down to where we could afford that within our budget. So what you have before you tonight is a recommendation for a contract with Tasco LLC to put that bridge in for a dollar amount of $49,000. So staff recommends approval of this contract, and that concludes staff report.
Any questions? Yes, Brian.
Yeah, I'm looking at the drawing on with the wing walls. Is that what you're saying is going to be built now? But you just said two side by side. This looks like one.
They come in two pieces. It's one piece that comes in two parts.
Oh, okay.
To be able to deliver and install it.
Okay. Because I'm going, where's the second one going?
Yeah.
These wing walls, I don't know if you're.
It ends up having the wing walls on both sides, and
Okay.
it's kind of a land bridge with concrete trail over
Okay.
the top of that, and it'll have safety rails on there as well. So
Will it be painted, or do you just walk over concrete?
it'll just be concrete. Yeah, it won't be painted at all. It'll have approach and riprap around the wings, and they'll have the safety rails, but for the most part, it'll look like a concrete trail with some rails over it.
And we'll have asphalt leading up to it?
Yes.
Okay.
And whatever asphalt is damaged, we'll repair that, but it'll be minimal just to stay within budget. We will most likely go back in and fund repairs to that area at a future CIP.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Not hearing any other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr.
Right.
Chairman, I move we approve the bid of $49,000 to Tasco LLC and push that forward to City Council for approval.
I'll second that.
Okay. Hearing a first and second, any other discussion? At this point, seeing none, we will go ahead and vote. All those in favor? Okay, passed 7-0 with 2 absent. Okay, action item B, Director.
Thank you, sir. Action item B is a grant writing services contract. I'll give you a little bit of background to this. During the October 1st community conversations, during one of the breaks, I gave a quick update on the Hawks Nest, our all-inclusive playground at Hawk Ridge Park. At that time, there was a lady named Michelle Biondo. She was a new resident of Raymore, attended the community conversations, heard that, and at the end of the evening, she approached Mike Eakey, our communications director sitting behind me. She approached him, basically giving him a background of her professional career as a grant writing and fundraising consultant, and wanted to be involved, really enjoyed the presentation I gave, and was really interested in being involved in this project and how could she help. Clearly, that's something we are interested in as well, so we invited her in. We did, Mike and I talked with her for a little over an hour, kind of an informal interview, seeing what she had to offer. She comes with a wealth of experience in this particular field. She's submitted grants to over 120 different corporations or different grants. As you all know, you don't get them all, but she has a very high success rate in these things. She quoted us a very favorable dollar rate per hour at $65 per hour, which is something that you don't turn away from when you see it. So what we propose to put together and present to the park board is a contract with Michelle for an hourly rate to help us seek and apply for grants for Hawk Ridge Park. And this is something that we will focus on for the first year. If we feel this is successful from a board's perspective and a staff perspective, we may, broaden that to other projects that we might have, even other departments. But this first year, we do want to focus on that, which is something that she was interested in as well, as this will be kind of a part-time job for her. So Everything else is basically in my staff report. I'm more than happy to answer any questions, but we do recommend approval of this contract, and this will be one that also goes on to City Council for final approval. That concludes staff report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Okay. Oh, Brian, sorry.
Of course, I have questions. There's no, I don't see any minimum in here or any anticipated number of hours. And since this is going to be kind of a citywide contract, if we have a write a grant for us, that comes out of our budget, correct? How do we, I mean, we obviously didn't anticipate any of this, so how, where would this come from? How would this be funded?
So anything that she does on grant writing for the park board will be she will need to identify those as being specific for park board grants. From legal's perspective, in looking through this, this is basically a trial opportunity for it. And I would simply note on there the 30-day notice requirements for being able to terminate it if it doesn't work out well. But from the perspective of funding the grant writing aspects of this, it's going to be $65 for every grant that she writes on behalf of the park board, and she's going to need to be able to identify on subsections on each one of those, whether it's a park board grant that she's working on versus a general city grant that she may be working on for other entity.
I'll follow up on that in terms of how the park board or the parks department will pay for that. We will fund that out of our general fund, and it will be compensated for any, you know, say we apply for one and we get it, those proceeds will help cover what we paid out. So we're going to front it.
That was the question.
Okay. Great.
Any other questions? Okay, not hearing any other questions, I'll ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the grant writing services contract with Michelle Biondo.
I enthusiastically second that.
Awesome, I have a first and a second. Any other discussion? If not at this time, we'll take it to vote. All those in favor? Okay, again, 7-4, none against, 2 absent. Action item C, Park Board Bylaws Amendment. Director?
Thank you, sir. If the board will recall, we previously reviewed the bylaws the last couple of work sessions. This is something we do on an annual basis where we just go over it, make sure there's nothing that we want to change or anything. The board did direct staff to make some changes on the Section 5 of removal, which basically further defines your absences or how many how many meetings you can miss in a year. Recommendation at work session, which is also in the notes that have been provided in this packet and previous packets. The board has recommended to change the language under Section 5, and it's noted in our staff report, but that a member of the board of directors who is absent from 3 consecutive regular meetings of the board or 25% or more of the combined regular board meetings and publicly posted work sessions. That is the change. So what the board has directed staff to do is make that change to where instead of 6 absences in a year for just regular meetings, you want to combine the regular meetings and the publicly posted work sessions and make those absences only if they are over 25% of those combined meetings. Hopefully that was clear. We had a lot of deliberation on that in the work sessions, but I think I got what the intent of what you had requested. What I did do, this does not change the current ongoing rule of 3 in a row for a 12 rolling calendar or 12-month rolling calendar, but it will make some changes on how we implement this. So I put in the staff report that combined or that 25%, we will begin in January. And it will be a rolling calendar from that point. So nothing changes. We just have to have a starting point. So I put January. That gives another work session. If you guys have questions about that, or if you want to table it, that's all up to you. But hopefully I've represented what the board has wanted or requested. And happy to answer any questions. That concludes staff report.
Thank you. Any questions? Brian?
I'd like to know where we settled on the tardy versus absent dilemma.
It's funny you should ask. Mr. Zur and I discussed that ahead of time because I knew that would be some questions in terms of work sessions. Really, what the city council doesn't distinguish that at all. There's nowhere in city code that determines what is an absence or how late you can be to be considered on present to the meeting. It would be my recommendation as a board to adopt just a general rule of thumb of if you're going to be past 15, 20 minutes late of a work session and you haven't emailed me, just wait till the regular meeting. Don't worry about coming. You know, if you've emailed me, you've let me know that you're going to be late, that's fine. I'll notify the rest of the board at the beginning of the meeting that you should be late. If it's a if it's a general meeting such as we're in now, my recommendation is if you're late past a motion or a voting action such as unfinished business or new business, that's an absence. If you get here before staff reports are complete, you're fine. And I'll ask Mr. Zur to make a comment.
But technically, this language that you're looking at does not address the tardiness. It simply identifies it as an absence. If the board is interested in doing something further to particularly define what an absence will be qualified as, you would need to take that further step. We're simply providing from staff's position what potential recommendations for that might be. It has not been adopted, so Mr. Mustine gives a good analysis of what could be considered as an absence for tardiness, but the language that you are presented with this evening does not specifically address that.
That just confused me. So you're saying it doesn't address it, so if you're late, it's just an absence? Oh, okay.
There is no reference in the language that is being considered this evening for what a tardy would be. It's
Or what an absence is.
Or what an absence is, that's true.
Okay.
But an absence obviously is going to be you're not here
Correct.
at the time.
But at what point? At roll call?
Nothing in here is identification of
Okay.
what that would be.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, not hearing any at this time. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept this bylaw amendment for, I guess I should say, for Section 5 of the removal.
I'll second that.
Okay, hearing you first and second, any other discussion? Okay, then we'll move on to a vote. All those in favor of the change? And it passes 7-4, 0 against, 2 absent. Okay, we'll move on to public comment. Doesn't look like we have a public comment. So we'll move on to board member comments. Rich?
None at this time.
Okay. Jenny?
I am very excited that we have a grant writer joining the team and available to us. I had looked into trying to figure out if I could learn grant writing, and let's just say I can't. So I'm very pleased to have that on board with us. So thank you for working through that.
Jim?
I'm good, thank you.
Man, a few words. Eric?
I have fewer words.
Even better. Ryan?
No comment today.
Brian? No. Wow. All right, that leaves me then, and I'm going to buck the system a little bit again. Just thank you to Director and his staff for keeping things rolling for us, making our jobs very easy. I, too, am very excited about the grant writer. That adds another addition to our group that should just be wonderful. So I just ask that you guys keep up the great work and keep us looking good up here. With that, we'll move forward to an adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I will second that.
All right. And with that, we will vote on it. All those in favor of adjourning? Passes unanimously.